alone. My hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. His cornerstone is solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are still, when striving cease. My comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand.
Good morning, everyone. I said good morning to some. It was again good to hear a few more stories. That's great. At a certain point, I was asking the Lord, how can I connect more with some non-Christians? And to make the story short, at a certain point, I was invited to a club, which is a rhetorics club. When they train a different way of delivery and good speech and preparation of the structure and body language and everything. And I thought it might be interesting because I was a radio speaker, so now it's something different, and I was also I was also a pastor, so I knew something about that. So I joined that group, and in 3 months or so, when I became a member, there were some other people coming, wanted to become a member, which is great for the club. The president of the club at one of the members' meetings said, "We should be careful not to take some of religious fanatics here." I looked around, as I knew the people in a few months already. It was clear to me there is no other religious fanatic besides me. But I was thinking, did I say anything spiritual? Not from the pulpit. Never. Never. Only in the personal discussions, or as I was introducing myself, I probably spoke about, so to say, more profound values or something. So I said, Lord, does it mean I should shake my sandals and leave? Shake the dust and find some other place? And he said, no. Just pray for 1 hour before you go. So it seemed like opposition, but he said, no, pray for 1 hour before you go. So I started, I did. Sometimes even more than 1 hour. And in about 2 months, one young lady started to go to our Bible study. So I don't use that platform to speak about Jesus or anything spiritual, but after the official meeting, I say, I don't know, 80% of these people there go to the pub, if I can say the word, but yeah. And there is my place. After the first meeting, I said, no, I'm not going. I'm a Christian, saying to myself. I never learned to go to the pub. I don't know how to behave there. But the Lord told me, no, that's why you are there. So I went, and I hear stories from their lives there in the pub. And I asked them a million questions, and we become friends there. And there is my place, and I see Jesus sitting just by me with them. And this way, I met one guy who was evangelized by some other brother whom I know, and he happened to come to this club too. And in the pub, one day, he pulls from his bag, he pulls a Bible and says, "Father, what do you think about this?" And opened the Bible in the pub in front of me. So I read a few verses, he pointed to me, and I said, okay. So I started to talk with him. And at the other side of the table, there is a young girl listening to us. And then he looks at his watch, "Oh, my bus!" And he just grabbed his stuff and ran away. And she looks at me, I knew she was listening to the whole thing. And she said, oh, that far? I don't know how to say it properly in English, so much, So I said, yeah, you have never tried reading Bible. She said, no. I said, you should. Would you like to? She said, I don't know. You know what? We are reading Bible every Sunday in the afternoon with my friends. It's very informal in my home. Come and you see. Okay, I'll talk to my boyfriend. So they came. They started coming. And in a few, it took, I don't know, almost a year when she really became a Christian. But she became a key person for other people. To make it short, I'll mention it again. Now she has her Bible study in her home. And it's like 2.5 years since that first meeting. One brother, and because, how to say it, over the time, I'm there for about 3 years, I think. And I think 12 or 13, I stopped counting the people have been to our Bible study. And I started to do barbecues during the summer months. And we can have there like 15 of them. Just in the backyard, barbecue, good smell. And they're there just talking. No Christianese, nothing, but they're excited, they're coming back. They are taking their relatives with them to be with this family and other friends, other Christian friends who are with us. One Christian friend asked me, what are you doing to get them there? And I started to think about that. You can have a simple, fast answer. I just invited them and they came, or something, it's simplified. But as I was thinking, basically I was asking the Lord, what am I doing? If there is anything about me, what we can change and learn? That was the question. What can I do so that I would also have people around me? And in the meantime, as I was thinking about that, I say, I'm different. In what? How? I'm living with Jesus such a way, I try to, that they see something different in these people. I'm sharing my life. I'm not evangelizing them, but I'm sharing my life, my values, my thinking, my struggles, or anything. And they feel something deep, something practical. At the same time, I'm just as they quote, something from Buddhism and any other, philosophies or writers or anything, I say, Jesus said, and something. So I use, as they use different quotations, I quote Bible occasionally, if it fits. And I realized, as I'm thinking about that, and some Christians came to the club too, and I realized that even my facial expressions are different than they used to be. Because some time ago, years ago, when someone kind of poked me, and I was poked in my head, you should say something about Jesus or about something. So I kind of got stiff. Jesus loves you, and he wants to change your life. That was the way. You should. That was the way. But now I'm relaxed, and I'm drinking something. I usually go by car, so I don't really drink any alcohol there. But sometimes, if they are in my home, we have a wine or something. I hope it's okay. And while talking with them, I said, "Oh Jesus, help me to understand." Or something. So that's what I observed with Jesus. It was so normal for Jesus to say a sentence to the Father. Oh, thank you, you've heard me. And then he calls Lazarus, go come out. So the question, what I'm doing, basically turned into, who are you? because I am different. And that's what I put into your notes, that I am different. And I'm kind of observing myself. What is different? Because He's changing me always. So it's not about me, it's about how to reflect Jesus in my face, in the way I'm so excited with the Bible, and it's not threatening for them. Because I saw Christians, and I felt awkward as they were sharing the gospel. And I started to think, what's awkward? It's from different, planets. And I'm speaking their language. That's another thing. When I speak about Bible, it's about excitement and joy and something practical. I even developed some phrases, some slogans even. I say, oh, religion is boring. It's not for me. What? Because if you speak about Bible and Jesus, it looks like religion. I said, oh, religion is boring. It's not for me. And so, how? I'm just talking with Jesus, I'm driving the car and talking with Jesus. It's great. And they don't have a box in their head where to put this information. And that's what I like. I used to use the Christian words, vocabulary, but now I avoid them as much as I can. I want them to make new boxes in their head and put new stuff there. So there is no moralizing. We used to say, oh, this is sin, or this is, bad, and we stand for right, a good life and something. No, I'm not moralizing. I know they're living with each other and so on. I don't moralize them. I don't speak about that in a negative way till they get to know Jesus. So my focus is, how can I point to Jesus so that they will see Him? Then their life will change. No moralizing. I understand everything. I try to help them wherever they are. I realized, my dear brothers, that no one is interested in what I believe. We used to explain things, how we believe and how is it, and evolution and anything, everything, whatever. They are not interested in that. They search me. They watch me, they analyze me, my thinking, and they know I'm different, and they try to recognize the point. Where, what, and sometimes some ask, how can I become that way? They usually ask a different way. So at a certain point, I came to this club, and it was a wider idea even before I was in that club. I learned, I said, Lord, what can I do? Because the basic idea I had in my head back here was just go and share the gospel. But in my country, no one is interested in the gospel, in the way we were doing it. So I said, what can I do? And the Lord told me, just bless them. And here is my first question. What does it mean to bless people? Would you work for 30 seconds and think how practically you can bless your neighbor who is not a Christian, or your colleague at work, or whatever, whoever? What does it mean to bless them? Would you put down like 3, 5 points, something, verbs or nouns or anything? Please work on it just now and put it down, and then we'll shout the terms. What is a blessing? How can you bless neighbor or anyone? Good. I see some still writing. That's good. That's good. So when I go to the club, I ask Jesus, how are we going to bless them tonight? Or if they come to my home, some of them, for a party or for Bible reading, I say, how can we bless them, Lord? How are we, you and me, bless them? So what are your answers? Just shout the word here and there.
Serve.
Serve. Okay, it's very general, but yes. Okay, thank you.
Pray for them.
Pray for them. On the spot.
Yeah.
With them. Them hearing it. Okay.
Listen to them.
Listen to them.
Remember what they say.
Remember what they said last time. Exactly.
Gifts,
Gifts. Like,
homemade bread or something,
Okay.
something from you, not a.
good.
Enlarge.
Be interested
In lunch, you mean spreading the bread or food somewhere? Or enlarge, what do you mean?
Enlarge their perspective.
Okay, enlarging their perspective. Okay, I thought bread enlarged. Thank you. Enlarging their perspective.
Just be interested in their lives.
Be interested in their lives.
Bless their children.
Bless their children. If you ask them about their children, next time you ask them how is it going,
Or if you have children, allow them to play together, invite them into your home. That has worked very well.
allow their children to play with your children.
Just to be more specific about serving, help them with specific needs.
Help them with specific
They need
needs.
to move or something.
If they need to move, or if they need for their kid mathematics, extra hours or something. Yes, any help. Yes.
And make research about their needs.
Make
Research.
research. Okay.
Yeah, it's about
So ask them for their needs, what they are, and then yes.
Empathize with them.
Empathize to express what they feel and just identify with their feelings. Yes.
Invite them for a gelato.
Gelato. Ice cream. Okay. Invite them for ice cream. Okay. Yes. In the Czech Republic, invite them for a beer. Did you say anything?
Did I?
No. I heard something from
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Yes. Yes. So I think you said the basic things which I found out, and I would say the first is listening. Because the club operates, is alternating Czech and English version. 1 week is Czech, one week is in English. Also to the English, also some foreigners come. And one Hungarian man came, and he lives there regularly. And he's kind of reserved a bit, and he's a stranger in the country and so on. But in the pub, he went to the pub, and so I asked him about his life. And he said he's introvert, but he was speaking about 1 hour about himself and his family and why he came, why he left his country. So he is introvert, but as I accompanied him with questions, after this hour he looks, I'm speaking so much. I never do. Because I asked him so many questions. And we came to family and some things, and I asked, some things because he shared some pain there and so on. And he said, and what would you do? That was my point. And I repeated that question several times as I was responding to his need. And I said what I would do. Things like that happened in my life. I talked to Jesus. I talked to Jesus about that. I just consult with him. And there is a great wisdom for this kind of thing in his Bible. And something, I'm not a believer. Doesn't matter. You still can talk to him. He's there. He's here. He's everywhere. Again, he's out of the box. No, he needs to make a new box. He's highly educated and so on. But that was the beginning. And yes, my questions are, and the listening is connected with questions. It's not just, sitting and listening, but questions. And these are not interrogation. Yeah. It's questions which are going deep about their feelings. I need some facts, certainly. I ask, so how many kids do you have, and so on. But if I recognize something, some crack there, and the way how they say it, I observe them, their facial expressions and everything, and if I see some crack, or how to say it, then I ask about feelings. How do you feel about that? Or how does your wife feel about that, or something? And this way we go deeper. Another form of blessing, I don't know how is it in your countries or continents, but it seems to me that the Czech Republic is a country with no fathers. In regular families, there are some men who have kids, but they are not necessarily fathers. And in many families, the fathers are not even present. So they are not present, or they are dysfunctional. If they are there. Just few families have fathers. So easily and so quickly we get to a father and his influence to your life. And you see the burst of something, not smelling good, and brownie and things going out of there. And I say, he never praised you. He never told you you're good. No. So many people say that, girls and boys, men and women, any age, Sometimes through some business we do partially, I get to highly, like a dean of mechanical faculty or something. I go to him in a few tens of minutes. We are talking about his father, and he's older than me. How he felt with his father. So I many times say, I had no father. My father died when I was 2.5 months old. But I have father who fulfilled all my emotional and even practical needs. So your mother could remarry someone? No, only after I was married, she remarried, and we are very glad with that. But God became my father, as I said. How does it work? Good question, and I have something to say. That's practical, that connects with their feelings, with their needs. Or sometimes I'm blessing them by praising them, but it's not empty praise. I developed, it will be for another lecture, I developed certain parameters of effective praise. If you say you're good, oh, it's nice, but it doesn't help anyone. But there are some parameters, I found 5. You need to be personal. You need to say, I like this, or I consider it valuable, or something. Then it needs to be specific. You said this, and it was so profound. So it's not necessarily about something what you do good. It is. You had a speech, like in the club, and the speech was excellent. But I rather go somewhere deeper to something specific. I appreciate the courage with which you shared your pain. That's what I said to our girl. So it's very specific. The first was personal, specific. Then it is. I don't get it in my notes. I'm just saying it now. It needs to be. The last one is it needs to be often. If it's long-term relationship, and you praise them just once a year, it doesn't work. But if it's often, you create atmosphere of praising, of appreciation, and they know it. Personal, specific. The fourth is creative. If you say to your wife, my beloved, my beloved, my beloved, my beloved, or to your kids, it probably loses its, value. Be creative, create something more, something new. As you're coming home, what I'm going to say to my kids as I see them, and to my wife. Or as I talk to this person, how can I say new way? And if it's new way, then you know you have been thinking about it. You have been thinking about them. So the creativity in the wording is very important for them, because it's the value. Personal, specific, creative, and one is missing, so I'll probably come back to that. Or I'll look into my honest. Certainly honest is under anything, everything, yes. But there was another one, sorry. So I meant one of the blessings is just praising them for something. Yeah, it needs to be right. It needs to be right. It's connected to that. So if you say something very general, or if you say something fake, it doesn't work. But it must be something they agree on. If someone was singing and I say, Martin, it was so good, thank you. It's too general. If I say, the second song, and I quote a verse or a word or some part, it touched my heart. It's very specific. And if it's something what I saw he loves and what touches him, then I say, I saw it touches you. You sing it from your heart. And then that's right. Because he agrees on that. And he says, yes. And you feel like it sits in his heart. Because that's right. So that's personal. It should be probably first right, but he agrees with it. Personal, specific, creative, and often enough. Okay, that's extra bonus for me. But it's extreme blessing if you pronounce effective praise. And if you are known, and I'm known there now, for blessing people, for praising them, they sometimes come to me. What do you think about that? So I look for things I can praise, and the atmosphere I create allows me to say things which are not good, but such a way that they want to change them. So if I criticize any element, like in the speech or anything, it's so powerful because it's based in the praise and appreciation and understanding and so on. So that's another point. So blessing them by encouragement, praise, and help. Basically, I'm building them up. As we speak about family, have you tried? I suggest things if we are that deep. So basically, the important point is the atmosphere I'm making around me. I'm sharing from my life now, but that's what Jesus did. There was an atmosphere around him, and people were sharing, from one to the other. And I started to speak to one new member, and he said, "I heard that about you." So there is a fame going in front of you because people will say, "Those who have invited him and told him about me." And I know, I'm not president of the club. I don't accept any function intentionally. I just want to be a little tiny member there. But I want to bless them. And it seems to me, later when one guy said, as he heard about my life with Jesus, he said, "Oh, that's why you are this way." He saw me as a nice person, but now he said, "That's why you are this way." And that was good for me. I said, "Good." Help him to understand he can also. And I think that's what the church should be, living Jesus, the body of Jesus, living out there in this world and blessing this world, and pointing to the Father, pointing to Jesus, our representation of Jesus among the people. Oh, Jesus, help us to be this way. To be attractive. Not worldly way, but deep. If people have a problem or if they have a joy, they come to me because they know I will rejoice with them. And that's a blessing. If I rejoice with them, it's a blessing. Sometimes people come with something great, something, and you start to say what is good for you. That's what people do. Oh, this is good, and I say, no. That's so great. And tell me more about what you are grateful for. So it's focused on that. And I'm thinking always about the representation of Jesus. How can I be a bit of Jesus among them, or how to say it properly, theologically right? And that's the question which I put there, or the next point, which is listening to living Jesus. It seems to me that in the evangelical realm, in the last 200 years or so, we became very intellectual. It's good that we have great emphasis on the Bible. I think it was a great contribution to Christianity. On the other hand, if we are exclusively intellectual, I think something is missing. So I'm thinking about Jesus, and I think Martin just cheated on my notes yesterday. Jesus indicated he would leave, and the disciples were like, how can you leave? But he even said, Matthew 16, from that time Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised up on the third day. So this is what Jesus saying, in half of the gospel, Matthew 16. It's just beyond the half of the gospel. But with this message, which was so awkward, so strange, so unbelievable for the disciples, he also says, like John 14, I will not leave you as orphans, I'll come to you. Or in the same chapter, John 14, but the Helper, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he will teach you all things and bring to your remembrance all that I said to you. It's New American Standard Bible, if you are interested in the translation. So that's what it shows. And John 16, but when he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will guide you into the truth. For he will not speak on his own initiative, but whatever he hears, he will speak, and he will disclose to you what is to come. So Jesus repeatedly, in different ways, says to his disciples, he will leave, but basically he wants to tell them, it's better if I leave. It's better for you. Which was, out of their understanding. How can that be better? And we sometimes are jealous with disciples that didn't touch Jesus. But if this time we were able to touch Jesus, he will be here. He wouldn't be in my home. If he was physically here. But through the Spirit, he's in my home, with my family, and also here. And also in your home. And even with my non-Christian friends, he's there, everywhere. And that's a great blessing. At the end, it's Great Commission, so we probably should know it. He says, he's teaching them and saying, I'm with you always to the end of the age. Always, not only as far as the length of time is concerned, but always in every single moment. And then, it was what Jesus said, and then he's gone, in that sense, and the Spirit is here, and I'm observing what happens then. I see Stephen, how do you say it? Stephen? Yeah, Stephanus. Stephen. As he's stoned, he looks up and he sees Jesus on the right hand of the glory. And he says, I see him. And he talks to him up there. Jesus, please forgive them. They don't know what they do. And then Philip, the deacon, ends up in Samaria because there is great persecution. And in Samaria he hears through the angel or dream or anything, go to the remote place between Gaza and Jerusalem and something will happen there. So he goes and he knows what to do. And then he hears approach the chariot. And he starts to speak to them. So he has impulses from living Jesus, from God on the spot. Or Saul is going to Damascus, non-believing, terrible. He's going to Damascus and he's stopped and asks, who are you, Lord? And the answer is, I'm Jesus. So Jesus is speaking. Oh. He is like, and he doesn't see for 3 days and so on. But at the same time or soon after, the same Jesus is speaking to Ananias, or Ananias, or what's the version in your language. Basically, Jesus is making an appointment for these two, Saul and Ananias. He's sending Ananias to a certain address, go to that house. Jesus is speaking, very practically showing the way. And there would be a list of things which happen this way. And I started to ask, is there anything like that for us? And if Jesus says, I'm with you, he says, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. And then he says, I'm with you. Shouldn't that be our experience? It means that he is present here. Do we believe that? Jesus is right here. As he was speaking to Ananias, saying, there is the man, Saul, goes to this straight street or something, and Ananias responds, as, oh, he's dangerous. You know him? I don't know, he was the vessel I chose for special purposes. Could we experience anything like that today, here? I'm afraid we are so much to intellectual Christianity, and I'm so thankful for that, because we are really rooted in the Bible. And if I say anything stupid, ask me where is it in the Bible. And as we are reading with the non-Christians, it's fun. Sometimes they say something really strange, and I just look around what the others would say, and they say, it's an interesting idea. Where do you see it in the text? And he looks back, oh, it's not there, but I thought so. Okay, let's go back to the text. So we don't criticize anyone for saying something out of the text. We just ask, where is it in the text? And then, I say something profound, deep, spiritual. And this non-Christian asks me, Pavel, interesting, but where is it in the text? And I need to say, it's not in this text, it's somewhere else. So I stopped saying profound spiritual things, which are not in our text. Because I would need to flip through the Bible, and he would look like stupid. Doesn't feel good for that. So I work only with the passage we have in front of us for today. Or sometimes, if they were before that, we can go back to the text we have read before. So it's very good to be in the text. At the same time, I think we should be open to the promptings of the Lord any time. He speaks in various ways to different people. I don't know what's your experience. I'm not charismatic. I like, something, blah, blah. But As Jesus says, I remind you what I have said. That's it. So I said, if he is to remind me something, I need to learn it, so that he will be able to remind me that. He's able to tell me new things, but if he says, I remind you, it means I need to know the word. But then it becomes life. I'm solving something, some problem, or doing something, and just prompts me with this word, with this sentence, and so on. And that's it. That's one part. That's how it happens, as the hint from the Lord. And be certain, any hint will never go against the written word. And that's the measure. The written word is the measure. And that's why, even in the team, if someone brings something, or if I bring something good, I ask the team to measure if it fits what the Bible says, the Bible teaching. And Jesus is speaking about it very clearly, like John 10. My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. My sheep hear my voice. It's certainly the word of the Bible, but we can hear his promptings as Stephanus and Philip. It's not in the Bible to go to the remote place between Gaza and Jerusalem, but he knew clearly he should go. So he did. He went. Or Exodus 33, I love that. As we started this new movement, new ministry, I felt like there is no example who would do it in my country. And if they did it in China or India or somewhere, it's nice, but... And at that point, Lord pointed me to Exodus 33, that's the situation Moses was in. And he said, if your presence, Lord, Father, God, if your presence does not go with us, do not lead us up from here. I want my people to be signed with your presence. That's what Moses says there. I think it's the next verse. The sign, the stamp of my people, on my people, is your presence with us, or among us. And I think Jesus' followers should be signed by the presence of him. And I would like to, you have the papers with the Bible verses, I hope in all the necessary languages. I would like to reflect on these passages, just look through them, and just quietly, and ask the Lord, is there anything you want to show me? You want to point to me? Just let it speak to yourself. These are Bible verses, and you can say they are out of context or something. So you may even add more if the Lord reminds you of something. But let Him to speak to you, maybe through these passages, or you add some new. Can we do that for a few minutes? Let's say 5 minutes. Is it enough? It's 2 pages, or how many is it in English? Or? 1 page. 1 page. Okay, so you can be even less. As I see you are done, I will roll. 2 pages, 3. Oh, 3 even. Aha. I heard this one. So it's probably, yeah. 7 minutes is the time. Okay. Hunted by faith. So earnestly and flipping through the Bible verses. You can stay where you are. I think that's okay because the break will be soon. So if you just you can stay where you are. So can we collect, I would say, the pearls, some key, one word or short sentence, which is kind of discovery for you? Just shout the discoveries. If possible, as one sentence. Or even disagreements. You know, I learned that disagreements helped me so much. Or I need to change, or I purify the way how I say it. So, your discoveries, one sentence, yeah, if someone translates it, yeah.
Я хотел сказать, что Иисус хотел обобщить и передать ученикам, что Он хоть физически не будет с ним, но духовно будет оставаться с ним, как был с ним.
I just want to clarify that Jesus said that he will not be physically present with his disciples, but he will be with his spirit.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any other discovery? If practical for you, that would be, preferred. Preferred.
Yeah, I saw Henry had a great idea. A long time ago, he already wrote the verse from 1 Samuel in the first page of his Bible. What does it say exactly? Speak to me, Lord. Your servant is listening. So to remind himself whenever he opens the Bible to have that point.
Yes, thank you. So put the key verse in front of the Bible so you open it speaks to you. Okay, you expect.
Something very simple, just to recognize the present tense that so many of these things are in, whether Old Testament or New, that He is a shield to those who take refuge. Or when it says all, to keep in mind that this is all-encompassing, like the Holy Spirit will teach us all things. That all will teach us all that Jesus said. So it's active, simple, present, continuous.
Active, simple, continuous presence. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's not distant. Yes.
The more that we know our Bibles, the more it will help us to distinguish whether the voice that we are, or the impulse that we are feeling is from God.
Yes.
It's not a proof, but the more we know our Bibles, the more He can bring things to mind and remind us.
Yes. So we need to know the Bible so that we can recognize what is from the Lord and what is from different sources. Yes. Absolutely. Amen. Any other discovery?
I think Hebrews 5 is really talking about the fact that many believers keep wanting breast milk. It's, mom eats the food, someone eats the food and, feeds them, but God wants us to directly hear from Him. That's what it means not just to have milk. We're directly learning to feed ourselves. Doesn't mean we can't hear from others, but we need to learn to directly hear from God.
It's a good picture. Yes. Thank you. Go ahead, Dan.
Я вот здесь увидел, что Дух Святой — это утешитель.
I saw that the Holy Spirit is there.
Утешитель чаще всего, если он утешает, то утешает чаще всего в каких-то трудностях, испытаниях. И вот это навык активного слушания Господа, он проявляется именно в скорбях и испытаниях.
This skill of active listening is usually experienced in some troubles and trials.
Да, и вот этот вот процесс научения и напоминания, он происходит особенно активно в скорбях и испытаниях.
So this process of reminding and teaching is happens in difficult.
Я думаю, что Бог хочет научить нас слушать его не только в скорбях и испытаниях, но также и во времена тишины и покоя.
I think also that He wants to teach us to listen not only in difficult times, but also in some quiet and calm situations.
Поэтому речь здесь идет о активном слушании.
That's why we're talking here about active listening in any situation.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's very important that we want to listen to Him when we are well, not just when there is a problem. Thank you very much. I think in 1 minute it's time for a break. So, Father, I thank you are right now here through your Spirit. Jesus, I thank you are right now through your Spirit. And you can speak to us through brothers, through your word, through some experience, or through your own direct promptings. And we want to hear you, and we want to obey you. We want you that you would transform us from inside, so that we would be like you, Jesus. Break, bless you with the break, please, and our talks, and we can just rest. Amen. How is it with the break?
Yeah, the break, you see there's coffee, juice.
Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. His cornerstone, his solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace.